Alright, boys and girls, so for our next problem, I'm going to show you both resources. I'm going to show you how to use your multiplication chart, and I'm also going to show you how to use the top-bottom chart. In this instance, we have 14 divided by 6. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, I can do an array, it's only 14, but I really want to get you in the habit of being able to use your other resources as well as we get into the bigger numbers. Alright, so 14, that's my dividend. I've already got him inside the house over here. 6 is my driver. I'm going to divide 14 by 6. So if I'm thinking of my driver, I'm going to use my multiplication chart first. Driver is here on the side. Think about the driver has to be able to keep on going this way. So driver will be on the side. That's your divisor. And I'm going to look at 6. And then I'm going to go across until I find 14. However, something doesn't look right. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm trying to read this backwards on a camera screen, but I don't see 14 under 6. Do you? No. So this is the instance where you're going to start seeing something with remainders. We were able to use an array to see remainders. On this case, you're using a multiplication chart with it. So the way to think of this, there is an answer to it. Don't think it's not possible, I can't solve it. Yes, you can. All right, if I'm looking at 6, this is the question I always tell my students to ask themselves. If you don't see that number here, how close can you get to it without going over? So I'm trying to see how close can I get with 6's to 14, but not go over 14. So if I'm looking at my driver, my divisor, 6, and I look at it, I have 6, 12, 18. I'm going to stop here. If I have 18, that's more than 14. Your steps on division, you're going to have to eventually subtract. This case, I can't use this. If I only have 14, I can't go above that number. So I need to backtrack to 12. When I'm trying to make equal groups of 6 out of 14 total, the closest I can get is 12. So then if I'm using my divisor and I find 12, I'm going to have to go up top and find my quotient or my queen, which is 2. So I'm going to write that on my paper really quick. And I'm going to show you a preview of long division. This is not your only part of your answer. Because if you think about it, you did 6, you went over 2, that's only 12. I've got to figure out how many groups of 6 can get me to 14. So I'm not done yet. I'm only at 12. So when you're looking at long division, I'm going to put my 2 up here at the top. And when you do your division, there are steps you have to take. I call them the family members. And I'm going to write this down on another slide so you all can see it and still practice it and keep it in your head on the steps to follow. So you start out with dad. Dad has to divide. This is what you did here when you were trying to figure out how many times can 6 go into 14, or what's the closest 6 can get to 14 if you don't see that 14 on the 6's list. So I divided 6 into 14 2 times. The next step after dad divide is mom multiply. So coming up in videos, you're going to see me setting up a house like this for long division, and I'm going to go ahead and put that X there. That way I know I need to multiply later. So dad divides 6 into 14. It only gets to 2. Mom multiply. You take this 2 you put up here. 2 times 6. Okay, look back to your multiplication chart. If you have 6 2 times, 1, 2, gives me 12. Now you're probably looking at this problem thinking, where do I put 12? Well, I want you to think of division as kind of going in a circle because you're just repeating the same steps over and over again. 6 divided into 14 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. So you're going to loop down under here. Under 14. And you're going to put 12. Alright, dad divides, mom multiplies. Next family member we have is sister subtract. So you're going to subtract your dividend, which is 14 minus 12. So if I have 14 minus 12, I've got 4 minus 2 gives me 2. 1 minus 1 gives me 0. Okay? Now normally, you may have another number over here on this side, and that'll be brother bring down. But if you don't have any other numbers here, you don't have to bring down anything. That doesn't mean that 2 is still my answer. Because remember, if I have 2 groups of 6, that gives me 12. I need to have 14. So this is our next family member, who is Rover, and that's our remainders. So remember when I said when you see remainders, you're going to put that R2. So when I'm looking at this problem for 14 divided by 6, I can make two equal groups of 6 to give me 12, but then I'm also going to have a remainder of 2 left over. Okay? So when you do 14 divided by 6, your quotient is 2 remainder 2. Now you're saying, Miss Ellis, you keep talking about this top-bottom chart. And that is right here. This is in your packets as well to go home. This is basically a multiplication chart slimmed down. If you notice at the top of each column, or each little chart, you have your numbers. These are your factors. So you had your factors here along the side, on the outside for your multiplication chart. On your top-bottom chart, all of your factors are right up here in the corners. Now, top-bottom charts work better on division because they're really quick, simple, easy ways to help you figure out how many times something can be divided into another number. In this case, if I'm still looking at 14 divided by 6, these are your divisors. These are your drivers. So in this case, my divisor was 6. So the only chart that I'm going to look at is the 6 top-bottom chart. These are all the facts of 6. So if I do 6 times 1, 6, 6 times 2, 12, 6 times 3, 18, 6 times 4, 24, so on. So the way you're thinking of it is that you're multiplying 6 with each of your top numbers, and your bottom numbers are what it equals when you multiply it. So 6 times 1 is 6. Okay? So going back to this, it's the same type of question. I've got to try to find 14 on this list. So I'm looking underneath the bottom. This is what it's going to be equal to as a product. So if I'm looking for 14, I already know I'm not going to see it because there's 18. These go in number order. So I know that 14 would have to be somewhere close to the top. But I can't go over 14. That's the total amount that I have. I can't have any more. I can't have more. Sorry. So if I have 18, I actually have to backtrack up to 12. Is 12 more than 14? No, it's less. I can have less. I just can't have more. All right. So if I had 6 going into 14, the closest I can get is 12. If I look over here, that's my top number. That's what's going to go on top of my house. So I have 2, like I had right here. So 6 goes into 14 2 times. We're not done yet, because if I only have 2 groups of 6, that gives me 12. I need to have 14. So if this is your top number, that goes on top for your queen. Your bottom number here goes under what you were dividing your 6 into. So you were dividing 6 into 14. You were able to get 2 equal groups. 2 times 6 gives me 12. When I subtract those 2, I have a remainder of 2 left over. So that's how you can use your top-bottom chart. You have your divisors, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are your divisors. Those will be out front. Your top number, these are what will go up top for your queen or your quotient. Your bottom numbers are the numbers you're going to end up putting down below and subtracting.